Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another backtesting session. So it's going to take a minute to get reacquainted with the charts. Let's have a look at the economic calendar. What date did we get up to? So we're on the 11th. Let me try and keep this a bit closer to my mouth. Okay, so daylight saving. It'll be interesting to see if FX Replay caters for daylight saving. I'm sure it does. Monday, no news, and then Tuesday PPI. Wednesday is a large economic day. So if anyone's wondering what am I referring to, I'm referring to this, the economic calendar for this period. Okay. So and then Wednesday, as we can see, Wednesday was filled with dollar news. We've got the federal funds rates and FOMC statement, so on. So very volatile day on Wednesday, and then no news Thursday, Friday. So Tuesday is going to be key. See what we can do on Wednesday, and I actually think that Thursday may yield something as well. So what we're going to do is clear the chart. We're going to fast forward to Tuesday because, as you know, I don't trade Mondays. So we're going to get rid of all of this. And we're going to go out to the hourly. We're going to see where we are in terms of time. So it's 3 o'clock. So let's go to next session. There we go. Let's just drop this a little bit. So that's Sunday. Go to next day open. Oh, that was a little bit. There we go. Next session. Like so. Okay. Another one. Alright, we're just going to go to... Oh. I don't know about that. Okay, that's... Yeah, that's fine. And that should be midnight New York. Yep. Okay. So, we're good. So let's venture out to the weekly. See if we can identify, or certainly, well, we can see that the market appears to be in a market maker sell model. As we can see, we always have this issue with, I don't know why it does that, but nonetheless, let's get rid of that. Okay, so this low certainly appears to be the draw. So we're going to mark this low off. Okay, now we can see that that has been tagged on NQ. Question will be how deep of a tag that was, but we can worry about that when we get there. So I want the symmetrical lows, and where this to me initiated from, the tiny imbalance in there, small imbalance in here, then we obviously had this high time frame. Let's just do that for now. So, okay, so certainly that looks the draw, although we could see reversal from there. But yeah, you know. Let me just go back to the weekly and just, yeah, so small imbalance in there. Let's just have a look at the low. Excuse me. 93.25 high, 91.25. So there's a 2 point which we could just for more so for reference this. Oh, that'll probably disappear. Okay. Just don't know what the and I think we can do that. Oh, right. Let's just grab a template and have a look at what they look like. Okay. Okay, there we go. So we can use that and then we can go from there. So just want to reference that, and we've got the opposing one here. Okay, so we have an idea. We want to see if we can support that. So I'm just gonna pop to we're gonna pop to the daily. We had this imbalance in here, which was this candle. So just want to, so again, we're just building the case. We want a, I just realized I made a mistake. That's fine though. Okay. Just going to pop this over here as well. Want that symmetry. Now, is it that? No. It's that. Okay. And although, yes, this is which I believe we annotated previous week. So we want that, where we've got that level there. Okay. So we're just going to mark that up. That was the trigger, see lower prices. And just for completeness, we want to put that there. Okay. This okay. All right, so starting to sort of build that narrative. We're going to drop down to the 4 hour. Let's get a little bit more meat on the bones. Yeah, I think that was the trade that we ultimately missed. But oh well. These things happen. It's part and parcel of this business. Okay. So I don't know. Fine. Let me just refresh this. It might sort itself out. It might not. The answer is no. Okay, let's crack on. Oh Lord. It's going from bad to worse. Okay. Right, so let's just finish all of the markups before we get into the nitty gritty. Right, so there. Okay. So there we are. Right, so and then I want to reference, so if we there. Okay, so let's just make reference of those key price levels here. There. And here. And there. Okay, and finally Okay. Okay, so we've got our aligned highs in. Technically speaking, this low, but we're not going to worry about that just for the time being. Okay. Okay. All right, so really straightforward, really simple stuff. Let's just go into a little bit more of the nuance on the H4 just to get a flavor of order flow. So, I mean, we've got a number of clues in here. Of order flow being bearish, but nonetheless, let's look at this key price level or imbalance. Let's just stretch this out. Okay. So if we are to see lower prices, we anticipate that that will hold. Predominantly concentrating on ES and NQ, they have that symmetry. Okay, perfect. Okay. So, okay, let's begin. So our daily outlook for Tuesday the 15th of March. So IOF. So let's just venture out to the daily, have a quick look, see what we think. We're clearly of the belief that this is to the downside. We're seeing imbalances support lower prices. And when coupled with high time frame cracking correlations, we're seeing these large high time frame displacements lower. So let's note that. So relative to the daily time frame, this is currently to the downside, with the market finding support for lower prices at the bearish fair value gaps, where coupled with a high time frame cracking correlation, I am noting high time frame displacement lower. Okay. I'm also noting how the market is manipulating highs whilst displacing through old lows. Okay, so they're the two clear indicators as to why, from a daily time frame perspective, institutional order flow, in my opinion, is to the downside. And yes, that may be obvious if you pan out and see a larger view of current price action, but we want to get into the specifics as to why. Okay, the context. So now if we come to the 4 hour, we're seeing support of that. Okay, so relative to the H4 time frame, I have also noted the high time frame displacement lower following the high time frame Kraken correlation. Whilst also noting bearish fair value gaps being repriced and rebalanced, or being left unfilled, with the market showing a willingness to reprice lower. Okay, there we go. Okay. Right, so now we want to have a look at ERL to IRL protocol, if that determines anything. Well, we can see from, let's just maintain this on the daily. We saw here, well, in fact, let's venture out to the weekly. We saw here, just in here, now if I make this just a lot larger, still going to be, we do this, we have that imbalance in there. Okay, that's all we need. So that has set the stage for internal to external range liquidity protocol. So that's what I'm going to detail. So relative to the weekly time frame, the market traded to and rejected from the CB weekly internal range liquidity. Therefore, my attention immediately turns to the old low weekly for ERL and high time frame drawn liquidity objectives. Now, just to add further to that, I'm going to drop down to the daily to find additional support of that point. Okay, and I mean, ultimately, we can see here that imbalance there, this high, well, target this low. Now it did fail to trade to that low, but it hasn't here. So have to look at that. Excuse me. But on the daily, again, this low could well be an initial objective. So let's just make a note. So relative to the daily time frame, the market traded up into the SIBI daily, where I noted and high time frame cracking correlation. SIBI daily IRL, where I noted a high time frame cracking correlation, setting the stage for lower prices. My immediate attention turns to the old low daily, the ERL as the near term high time frame DOL. Okay, so I'm just going to mark that low in, which is this low. Okay, there we go. Right, so let's keep this moving. I want to look at SP. Oh. Okay, so I've noted the clean and clear swing points above and below the marketplace, referencing the previous day's high and previous day's low respectively. This is where near-term liquidity would be residing and can be the basis of high probability trade ideas. Okay, either long or short at this point, although we favour short. So TOs currently all members are below their respective true week open. So again, this is going to support potential trade ideas. Therefore, currently supporting the idea of a purge at the lows and a view to potential high probability longs. Okay, that's only scenario based currently, just because of where we are in proximity to the true week open and a key liquidity pool. That being said, the previous day's high is the larger liquidity pool. There's more time that's elapsed for price to travel to that key price level. Okay, so moving on. Kraken correlation, I believe, is next. Yeah. So I noted during the previous week the high time frame Kraken correlation at the highs within the SIBI daily, which supported the idea of lower prices. And if you haven't watched that video, which would be the previous one to this, you should really go and check that out. How we missed the trade by 0.5 points, and ultimately the market trading lower down to take profit. So unfortunate, happens. There is an element of FX replay in terms of the start pause facility, but you know, no excuses. We should be really dropping down to the 1 minute, even on the 15-minute candle, just to give ourselves some time. Unfortunately, we didn't, so we missed out on that one. But you know, it happens. It happens. Anyway, moving on. Lower prices. We support the idea of lower prices. This was delivered. Currently, no further high time frame Kraken correlation exists. So this is Q2, so Q1 would actually start there. So what I actually want to do is this candle. Yeah, that candle there is an important candle. Perfect. Okay, so currently no further high time frame correlation is present. That's an extreme. Although yes, this is present. Extremely shallow. Extremely shallow. Where I would be expecting a far deeper run. Is present to frame a new trade idea. Okay, so finally we will be at game plan time. So to get to the game plan element, we want to go and witness what's been going on. So we're going to do that now. Can certainly see. Okay. just want to double check this. Okay. So first things first, let's okay. So we've got AR. So AR is there. I'm not seeing a London high. So we're just going to concentrate currently on the Asian range. Like so. Oh, there we go. Okay. Not sure why I've got 3. Oh yeah, I do. Okay. So far, fine. Okay. So extremely interested in terms of where price currently is. So we're going to forward this on to the next session, which should be pre New York. Right, so that's interesting. They've all purged their previous day's low. Okay, interesting. Let's pop out to the daily time frame. So potentially something here. So now we could also potentially look at that, which is probably a little more reasonable. In my opinion. But a cracking correlation between ES and NQ can be far more favourable. So the market has taken out, excuse me, key liquidity below the marketplace. Oh, excuse me. Okay. So the question is, what's the game plan? Well, so GP excuse me, 1. Okay, so we've seen the previous day's low taken. So we've seen the previous day's low taken, but we've also seen a significant liquidity pool taken relative to a higher cycle. Technically speaking, the order block currently is here. That's that. So just going to mark that up. Okay, yeah, I'm still here. I'm just referencing what I think is applicable. What I think is applicable for now. Okay, so let's make a note. So the market has purged a key high time frame liquidity pool plus previous day's low. And confirmed the bullish HBOB H1. Now, I just want to go back to the H4 because I don't think that candle has. No, so there's still plenty of time with that candle. Okay, so this could set the stage for the quantum plus model. To seek high prices. So that's 1. 2. not. I'd want to see a high time frame cracking correlation at the highs for me to now frame a short, despite the fact we've got the imbalance. Despite the fact that we've got that, I would want to see a cracking correlation at the highs relative to the H4 time frame, which I don't believe. Which I don't believe we're going to see because it's quite a way. Just going to upgrade this to a H4 liquidity pool. It's being confirmed, so that's key. It's going to be a lot of liquidity resting above there. Okay, so 2. Because the market has already traded into the CB, ultimately I'm looking at key price levels at that CB and they're not there. So I would, after that point, to me, I'd be looking for high time frame cracking correlation at the previous day's high, which I'm not convinced it's necessarily going to go there, but it could support the idea of this going long. So we're sort of between and betwixt. If the market another scenario, because we have got this cracking correlation, is if we see a low time frame cracking correlation form, potentially in this sorry, this is the 4 hour. Let's go back to the hourly. I mean, this is a low. It's not specifically the London low. So that would carry less weight in for me. So we could, so if we're going to see higher prices, if the market was to form a BCH1 and then I note a low time frame cracking correlation within the BC, this could set the stage for higher prices. So in that regard there, we'd be looking for potential model. So they're the kind of two scenarios that I would look at. If this candle here forms above and creates this SIBI, that's kind of what I would look for. So it just kind of, I guess now it's a case of whether this creates an opportunity. So let's have a look. We are at the session open. We've got our trade execution windows. So let's just clean this up. and we're just going to remind ourselves of the potential. So the 4 hour, we want to see, do we get a, well, let's mark it up. Do we get a bullish close above here would support higher prices as well. Okay, so yeah, that's fine. So this is a potential. This is not confirmed yet. We haven't got the candle confirmation for that, which is fine. So we're just going to drop down. They're sort of at similar levels, but we'll see. But yeah, if we just go back out to maybe the daily, we've got. Oh, sorry, that's just my OCD. It really frustrates. Yeah. So certainly H4 confirmation would be ideal. We have the hourly, so we just need to see whether we get a candle. We've got the candle confirmation here, so everything is set for a trade idea to trade higher. The only thing that isn't set is the trade execution window. So and the 8:30 news, so we certainly want to mark that up, which is here. And equities open, which is somewhere here. So the 4 hour liquidity pool is key, because that will that could potentially frame a trade coming back against us. So let's just want to pop back out to the hourly. Do we have, so there's no inversion fair value gaps. There's obviously potentially this BISI forming here, but we need more. That's a relatively new candle, so we need to see what happens with that candle. So what we're going to do is oh, where's that gone? Oh dear. Let's just put this at the top for safekeeping and maximize back out again. Yeah, don't particularly like that there, but oh well, for now. Okay, let's play on. So we're looking for around the 8 o'clock. We want this 7 o'clock candle to close. Gee, how fast is that? Right, so we're at 7:45. So in theory, Okay. There we go. Right, so now if we go back to the hourly, we've had a tag. But again, the tag has come outside of our session, so but what we have got now is what we have got, which is what we're after, is the confirmation of this BISI. So okay, so we've got this. That we can now mark up here and here. Okay, so we've seen some clear displacement now, which supports our idea. So if we were going to engage the market and would take on ES, would probably so say 2 to 1 there. Obviously this would be a key element for a trade, but so we can do that, but this if this was purged prior to being tagged into the market, that for me would invalidate the trade if that H4 liquidity pool is purged. Okay, so I'm just going to leave the risk and reward tool up for now. We're obviously approaching the trade execution window, so I'm going to leave this on the 15-minute. I'm going to change this to the 1 minute. No trade yet. Okay, so PPI has certainly changed the narrative. Now they've all purged that high, so that would indicate to me the fact that all of them have taken the Asia range high, this H4 high, that we're likely to see higher prices. Now so we're not at equities open yet, so based on that, in theory we could look to execute a trade if the market were to come down to our key price level. So let's see. Looks like this is going to be off to the races, but let's see. So I'm just going to go out to the hourly. Do we have another fair value gap? Time is 9:11. So this is not confirmed yet. We've obviously got the H4 level. If we certainly take this out, so as you can see, we're closing above here. But if we certainly take out 2R, then that would definitely be trade over. So let's continue. Okay, NQ is certainly closing in on the H4, the second chance entry. So I'm just going to venture out to the H4. See this large rejection. See, now that's we got to wait for the 10 o'clock candle before you can engage in that second chance entry at the H4 order block. We need to confirm the H4 candle. Now, to me, it would suggest that ES is certainly going to close above it. YM, NQ, less likely, but let's see what happens. So certainly NQ is going to trade above it. 15-minute imbalance there. Doesn't look like we're going to get a tag. We're just going to go out to the hourly chart, because this is a sort of more of a swing type entry. But I suspect now we're going to trade higher, and there you go. That's unfortunate. Ugh. That is unfortunate. So an entry would have been on NQ, but it was out of our trade execution window. Although, that being said, where is our trade execution window? Ooh. Is here, but not seeing anything, which I'm not going to cry over, but maybe it's on the 15. Yeah, it's on the 15. So, yeah, a shame that we couldn't execute there. It's outside our execution window. But it met all parameters, because it would have traded up. As soon as we closed above here, this would have been shifted to break even. Just a smidge over break even. Then we would have seen confirmation of these order blocks, and off it would have gone. So yeah, no trade, unfortunately, which is an absolute bummer, because we framed that exceptionally well in terms of what we wanted to see. Now, again, we had for our second game plan was if price traded into here, which it didn't. Again, which is extremely unfortunate. That would have been the second chance. Price traded away. It's hit the 2R threshold. So fortunately, no trade. And just to recap, so you guys heard me say if price trades above here, then that would invalidate the trade. It would invalidate the trade if we had a cracking correlation at the point of when they traded to this key price level. But as you can see, at this time of candle, 8 o'clock, across all three members, they had all purged and closed above the H4 old high. So therefore, that suggests to me we are continuing higher. So that doesn't invalidate the trade now. The purge of 2R would invalidate the trade. So what I wanted to see then was, do we get an opportunity with price trading lower? Now, again, if we drop out to the 4 hour, we needed to see confirmation of price closing above the H4 order block for the second chance entry. It did that, but look at the injection away. So unfortunately, it's just not a trade that we can participate in, which is a shame because we did all the right things. We framed the trade perfectly in terms of trading down, taking out the key price levels. We saw the cracking correlations relative to the daily time frame. There was two. Our preference was to trade ES because of the higher low here, but nonetheless, dropping down to the daily, the 4 hour time frame, we see the purge on all of them. The liquidity pool of the previous day's low, that's fine for this specific model, perfect. Okay, market rejects. We wanted to see a close above this candle for the second chance entry, but if we drop down to the into the hourly, we don't need an hourly purge on liquidity because we saw the H4 purge here at the previous daily low, and we've also had a purge of liquidity at this key high time frame key price level, or the key liquidity pool. So price trades higher. We confirm the H1 bullish order block across all three members, and the market closes above, just here on ES, and we can see that on NQ as well, closes above that key price level. So then we see the market trade higher. NQ does trade back into this key price level, but we can't execute because we're outside of the trade execution window, and then the market ultimately runs to 2R. So a perfect delivery of a trade. Now ultimately, I do think that, you know, we'll probably hit 2.5 and trade to the previous day's high, but if we get to the previous day's high and have a cracking correlation, we can potentially have a trade reversal lower. So that's what we're going to anticipate next. But in terms of this session, I hope you guys took a lot away from that. I think you should have done. So if you have, please give the video a like. Doesn't cost you anything. Just helps me determine whether you guys are enjoying this type of content and taking something away which is helping you guys frame your own positions and understanding what would nullify a trade idea for me and what still confirms a trade idea for me. So this one was a really good, insightful session. I think there was a lot of nuggets to take away, and if you like the stuff that I'm sharing, again, this is all part of my journey. This is for me to develop and so on, and if I can take people along with the ride and help them develop as well, that's a beautiful thing, and that's what I want to do from this channel. But ultimately, it's for me to be accountable, to showcase to you guys how I trade, and for me to improve and be true to my word. So hopefully you enjoyed this. Again, if you enjoy the content, please hit the subscribe button, and I will catch you in the next one. And the next episode probably still be today. We'll see what happens when price trades to that high, and then if we can frame a trade potentially in the opposite direction, or maybe there's a continuation. Who knows? But anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. Catch you in the next one.